Every interaction we have with others leaves traces far beyond the spoken words or fleeting gestures. Yesterday, when someone experienced pain or disturbance because of you, it was not merely an isolated incident. It was a reflection of the subtle energies exchanged between conscious and unconscious realms. Humans are not separate islands. We are interconnected, and our actions ripple through the inner lives of those we encounter. The emotional state of another is often a mirror, revealing both their vulnerabilities and the unseen influence we exert upon them. When someone is deeply affected, it is a call to awareness, an invitation to recognize the unseen impact of our presence. Our intentions, no matter how innocent, interact with the inner world of others, awakening feelings that may have lain dormant and sometimes causing imbalance in ways we might never have imagined. Understanding this interconnection fosters both responsibility and insight, allowing us to navigate relationships with deeper consciousness and empathy. The turmoil experienced by another is not always a direct response to our conscious actions, but often an awakening of unresolved elements within them. Pain, discomfort, and destabilization serve as symbolic signals that something has been stirred within their psyche. It is essential to perceive these reactions as meaningful messages rather than mere consequences. Emotional responses are complex, layered, and often influenced by memories, unprocessed experiences, and internal conflicts. When someone is in a very bad state because of our influence, it invites us to reflect upon the resonance we have created. The energies we carry, whether of impatience, disregard, or misunderstanding, interact with the emotional landscape of others. To recognize this is not an exercise in guilt, but in conscious engagement with the profound responsibility that accompanies human interaction. Every word, every silence, and every gesture has the potential to affect the psyche of another in ways that may remain hidden yet deeply felt. Acknowledging the impact of our behavior allows for growth, both in ourselves and in the relationships we inhabit. When we confront the reality that our presence may have contributed to someone else's suffering, it presents an opportunity to examine our unconscious patterns and projections. Often, what disturbs another person is not merely about the moment, but about the aspects of themselves that are awakened by our actions. Emotional responses are mirrors, reflecting both light and shadow, revealing truths about our interconnectedness and the depth of influence we carry. By embracing this reflection, we cultivate empathy, understanding, and the capacity for meaningful repair. It is through this attentive awareness that we can transform the effects of our behavior into insight, fostering healing not only for those affected but for our own consciousness as well. Healing and reconciliation require intentionality and presence. Once an action or word has affected another, it cannot be erased, yet it can be acknowledged, understood, and approached with care. The state of distress that another person experiences is an invitation to pause and engage consciously, to offer recognition and consideration of the invisible threads that connect us. Empathy is born not from excuses, but from active reflection and a willingness to perceive the inner life of another. The emotional echoes of our interactions are lessons, urging us to navigate future encounters with greater mindfulness. In doing so, we honor both our own integrity and the sensitivity of others, fostering connections that are conscious, compassionate, and transformative. Ultimately, the emotional response of someone affected by our behavior serves as a mirror into the human experience itself. It reveals the depth of our influence, the shadows we may project, and the unseen ways our presence shapes the inner worlds of others. By embracing this awareness, we recognize that every interaction is an opportunity to awaken consciousness and cultivate understanding. To witness the distress we have caused is to confront the reality of interconnection and responsibility. In this reflection lies the potential for transformation, for the development of empathy, and for the creation of more harmonious, conscious relationships. Each encounter becomes not merely an event, but a profound dialogue between inner lives, urging us toward growth, awareness, and intentional engagement with the emotional currents that define human connection. Human interactions are never neutral. Each word, gesture, or silence carries weight, leaving traces that extend into the inner world of another person. When someone is in a very bad state because of what occurred yesterday, it reflects not only the immediate action, but also the deeper emotional resonance that was triggered within them. Every individual carries a unique inner landscape, filled with vulnerabilities, memories, and sensitivities. When we engage with them, our presence can stir these elements, often without our conscious intention. The state of distress they experience is a mirror, revealing both the depth of their sensitivity and the unseen influence we exert. Recognizing this does not imply blame, but invites awareness. It reminds us that even seemingly small or casual actions can have profound effects, shaping the emotional climate of those around us. This awareness fosters responsibility, empathy, and a deeper understanding of human interconnectedness, emphasizing that our behavior is never contained within ourselves alone, but radiates into the psyche of others, often in ways we cannot immediately perceive. The emotional turbulence experienced by another person is a signal, a message from the unconscious, that something within their internal equilibrium has been disturbed. When they felt you yesterday, their response was not random. It was an encounter with the energies you projected, consciously or unconsciously. This disturbance brings to light hidden aspects of their inner world, fears, insecurities, or unresolved emotions that were awakened by your presence. At the same time, it reflects aspects of our own inner patterns, our projections, expectations, and emotional tendencies. Recognizing the complexity of this dynamic allows us to step back and reflect on the consequences of our actions. It becomes clear that our interactions are not isolated moments, but interwoven threads in a larger tapestry of relational and psychic connection. By paying attention to the reverberations of our behavior, we gain insight into the depth of human sensitivity and the importance of intentionality in our engagements. Awareness of the impact we have is the first step toward conscious responsibility. When another person suffers, whether intentionally or unintentionally, it offers an opportunity for reflection and growth. We can explore how our words, tone, or demeanor influence their state, and in doing so, we learn to navigate relationships with greater care. Emotional responses are not merely reactions to external events. They are reflections of inner truths, mirrors that illuminate the hidden currents of the psyche. By acknowledging the effect of our presence, we cultivate empathy and foster the possibility of repair and reconciliation. Conscious engagement transforms the ripple of disturbance into an opportunity for learning, allowing us to integrate our understanding of human influence with sensitivity and insight. Healing the consequences of our actions requires patience and intentionality. Once an emotional imprint is created, it cannot be undone, but it can be addressed through recognition, empathy, and thoughtful response. When someone is deeply affected, we are invited to acknowledge their experience and reflect on the forces we set in motion. This conscious acknowledgement fosters growth in both the giver and receiver of influence. It reminds us that emotional interconnection is a powerful aspect of human existence, one that demands presence, awareness, and integrity. Through this process, we transform the experience of disturbance into a moment of shared consciousness, where awareness, empathy, and understanding take root. Ultimately, the distress caused to another by our behavior serves as a mirror of relational truth, revealing the depth of influence we carry and the unseen forces within the psyche. Every interaction is a reflection, a dialogue between conscious intention and unconscious resonance. By observing the consequences of our actions, we cultivate awareness of the delicate threads connecting human hearts and minds. This awareness encourages us to move with thoughtfulness and presence, fostering connections that honor the sensitivity of others while deepening our understanding of ourselves. Each encounter becomes an opportunity for growth, reflection, and transformation, reminding us that human interaction is both a mirror and a bridge, offering insight into the intricate dance of consciousness and influence. The impact of one's presence on another human being is profound, often more than we realize. Yesterday, when someone was deeply affected by you, it reflected the unseen currents between your consciousness and theirs. Emotions are not confined within a single person. They flow, mingle, and echo across relationships, often triggering responses that reach into the depths of the psyche. When a person is in a very bad state because of our actions or words, it is a signal, a mirror showing the unseen influence we carry. It reminds us that every gesture, every tone, and even every silence carries weight. Human interactions are layered with meaning, both conscious and unconscious, and they can awaken dormant sensitivities within others. This is not about blame, but about awareness, recognizing that the effects of our behavior extend far beyond the immediate moment, shaping the emotional and psychological environment of those around us. The recognition of this connection encourages reflection, empathy, and the cultivation of a more conscious approach to relationships, where the subtle energies we emit are acknowledged as real and influential. Emotional disturbance in another person is rarely random. It emerges from the resonance between their inner vulnerabilities and our actions. When someone felt you yesterday, their response was the product of complex interactions between their history, emotional state, and the energy you projected. The intensity of their reaction highlights both their sensitivity and the depth of influence inherent in human presence. Emotional experiences serve as mirrors, revealing the hidden layers of consciousness that underlie surface behaviors. By observing the consequences of our interactions, we gain insight into the subtle ways our intentions, even unspoken ones, can trigger strong reactions in others. This reflection allows us to approach human connections with greater mindfulness, understanding that our influence is ongoing and often unseen, and that our actions ripple through the internal worlds of those we touch, leaving impressions that may last far beyond the moment of engagement. Recognizing the effect of our behavior is a step toward conscious responsibility. It is an invitation to examine not only the external act but also the internal tendencies that shaped it. Often, the suffering of another illuminates aspects of ourselves we may not ordinarily see, our projections, assumptions, or unresolved patterns. Emotional reactions are symbolic signals, messages from the psyche that reveal the interplay between our presence and the inner life of the other. By reflecting on these dynamics, we cultivate empathy and learn to navigate interactions with greater care. Awareness allows us to transform unintended disturbance into opportunity, the chance to repair, to communicate, and to engage with a deeper understanding of relational impact, fostering growth for both parties. Healing the effects of yesterday requires attention, acknowledgement, and a willingness to engage consciously. The emotional state of another cannot be erased, but it can be met with understanding and reflection. Our responsibility lies not in erasing what happened, but in recognizing its consequences and responding with intentional care. Emotional interconnection is powerful, and disturbances in one psyche reverberate through others. By observing, acknowledging, and thoughtfully engaging with these consequences, we create a space where reflection and understanding take root. Each encounter becomes a moment to cultivate presence, empathy, and mutual growth, transforming disruption into awareness and strengthening the conscious bonds that connect us. Ultimately, the distress experienced by another is a mirror, reflecting the depth of human sensitivity and the unseen threads that link our inner worlds. Every action we take, every word we speak, and every gesture we make carries the potential to influence, awaken, or disrupt. By becoming aware of this influence, we cultivate the ability to act with intentionality, thoughtfulness, and empathy. The recognition of our interconnectedness encourages growth, reflection, and the conscious shaping of relationships, reminding us that every encounter is an opportunity to engage meaningfully with the intricate dance of human consciousness, offering insight, understanding, and the possibility of transformation. Human connection is a delicate and powerful force, one that shapes not only the external interactions we share, but the internal landscapes of those around us. Yesterday, when someone was in a very bad state because of your presence, it revealed the profound ways in which our actions, words, and even silences resonate within another's psyche. Every interaction carries energy, and that energy can awaken memories, insecurities, or unresolved emotions. The emotional response of the other person is not simply a reaction to a momentary event. It is a reflection of their inner life being stirred by your presence. Recognizing this is essential, for it calls us to awareness of the subtle, often invisible impact we have. Conscious reflection on our influence allows us to navigate human relationships with greater sensitivity, understanding that our behavior contributes to the emotional atmosphere that surrounds others. Awareness of this influence is not about guilt, but about responsibility, an invitation to act with intentionality and mindfulness, appreciating the interwoven nature of human experience where one person's state can be shaped profoundly by another's actions. The turmoil another experiences often emerges from the intersection of their inner vulnerabilities and the energies projected by those around them. When someone felt you yesterday, their emotional distress highlights not only their sensitivity, but also the intricate web of resonance between people. Emotional reactions are symbolic, offering insight into the unspoken dialogue between conscious actions and unconscious responses. Our behavior can awaken patterns within another, bringing previously hidden emotions or tensions to the surface. Understanding this interconnection requires attention and reflection, reminding us that the effects of our presence extend beyond the immediate moment. Human interactions are never isolated. They ripple through the inner world of the other person, revealing both the fragility and depth of emotional life. By recognizing this, we cultivate empathy and develop a more conscious approach to relationships, honoring the inner experience of those we engage with. Reflecting on the consequences of our actions provides a pathway to growth. When someone suffers as a result of our presence, it offers an opportunity to explore the unconscious patterns and tendencies that shaped our behavior. The emotional disturbance of another is a mirror, reflecting aspects of both our influence and their inner world. By acknowledging this, we learn to navigate relationships with greater care, responding to emotional states with awareness and understanding. Each interaction is an opportunity to observe, learn, and adjust, transforming moments of tension into possibilities for repair, communication, and mutual growth. Awareness allows us to integrate the insight gained from these experiences into our future interactions, cultivating empathy and intentionality. Addressing the effects of our behavior requires presence and acknowledgement. Emotional impressions cannot be erased, but they can be met with recognition, thoughtfulness, and a willingness to engage consciously. The responsibility we hold in shaping the emotional states of others is profound. And when we honor it, we create the possibility for reflection and healing. Emotional interconnection reminds us that each person's inner world is influenced by those around them, often in unseen ways. By observing, reflecting, and responding with intentional care, We transform the disturbance caused into an opportunity for understanding and awareness, fostering growth for both the affected individual and ourselves. Ultimately, the distress experienced by someone else is a mirror of human sensitivity and interconnection. Each action, word, and gesture carries potential influence, shaping emotional landscapes and revealing the threads that connect conscious and unconscious experience. By cultivating awareness of our presence and its impact, we develop the ability to act with thoughtfulness, empathy, and intention. Every encounter becomes an opportunity to engage deeply with the emotional lives of others, to foster understanding, and to transform the unseen ripples of influence into conscious, meaningful connection, nurturing growth, insight, and relational harmony. Every human encounter carries a weight that is often invisible yet profoundly real. When someone experiences distress because of your presence yesterday, it reveals the subtle and often unconscious impact our behavior can have on others. Emotional responses are not merely reactions to external events. They are expressions of the inner life being stirred. What may seem minor or inconsequential to us can resonate deeply within another, activating unresolved emotions, vulnerabilities, or hidden tensions. Understanding this allows us to see the power inherent in every interaction. Each word, glance, and gesture participates in an intricate exchange of energy, shaping not only the immediate moment, but the emotional and psychological atmosphere of those involved. Recognizing this interconnection invites awareness and responsibility, emphasizing that human relationships are delicate ecosystems where influence flows in ways we may not immediately perceive, yet which leave lasting impressions on the minds and hearts of those we touch. The disturbance felt by another is often a reflection of a deeper internal interplay. When someone is in a very bad state because of our actions, it highlights the interaction between their inner sensitivities and the energies we project, intentionally or unconsciously. Emotional experiences serve as mirrors, revealing not only what exists within them, but also aspects of ourselves that may remain unexamined. Each reaction illuminates the intricate connection between the conscious and unconscious, between intention and perception, and between the self and the other. Recognizing this dynamic encourages reflection. We begin to see that our behavior does not occur in isolation, but within a web of relational and psychic interconnection. Awareness of these patterns enhances our ability to act thoughtfully, preventing unnecessary disturbance and fostering a sense of mindful engagement with the people around us, honoring their inner world while acknowledging the subtle but real influence we carry. Reflecting on the consequences of our presence allows for growth and transformation. The state of suffering another experiences invites us to examine our own patterns and tendencies, uncovering projections, assumptions, or unintentional behaviors that may have contributed to the disturbance. Emotional reactions are symbolic, providing insight into the inner life of others and revealing the subtle interplay between our actions and their perception. By engaging in this reflection, we develop empathy, insight, and a heightened capacity for conscious interaction. Each moment of emotional disruption becomes an opportunity for learning, repair, and meaningful dialogue, allowing us to transform the consequences of our actions into pathways for understanding and relational growth. Addressing the impact of our behavior requires acknowledgement and presence. Emotional states cannot be erased, yet they can be met with thoughtful recognition, care, and intentional engagement. Awareness of our influence on another encourages us to cultivate sensitivity, offering acknowledgement and support while learning from the experience. Emotional interconnection reminds us that our actions reverberate beyond the immediate moment, shaping the inner lives of those we touch in subtle and significant ways. By observing, reflecting, and responding with care, we create the possibility for healing, insight, and mutual growth, turning disturbance into awareness and fostering a conscious and compassionate relational environment. Ultimately, the distress caused to another person is a reflection of the interconnected nature of human experience. Every action, word, and gesture carries the potential to influence, awaken, or unsettle the emotional world of another. Awareness of this influence cultivates the capacity to act with mindfulness, empathy, and intention. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to engage with the invisible currents that connect us, to transform emotional disturbance into understanding, and to foster connections that are conscious, compassionate, and deeply meaningful. In embracing this awareness, we learn to navigate human relationships with care, insight, and a profound sense of responsibility for the unseen yet powerful effects of our presence. Every human encounter carries a subtle power that often goes unnoticed, yet its effects can be profound. When someone was in a very bad state because of your presence yesterday, it reveals the way our actions, words, and even silences can resonate deeply within another person's inner world. Emotions are not isolated. They move through the currents of human connection, often awakening feelings, memories, or tensions that have been dormant. The state of distress another experiences is not a simple reaction. It is a reflection of how your presence interacted with their inner sensitivities. Recognizing this is an invitation to greater awareness. Every gesture, expression, and choice has the potential to influence, unsettle, or awaken aspects of another's psyche. Understanding this influence is not about guilt, but about responsibility. It encourages reflection and care in our interactions, fostering empathy and highlighting the interconnectedness of human experience. Awareness of this dynamic allows us to approach relationships with mindfulness, seeing that our behavior contributes to the emotional environment in ways that may remain invisible yet profoundly felt. The emotional disturbance experienced by another is often a mirror of both their inner life and the energies we project. When someone felt you yesterday, it is not merely the act itself that caused the effect, but the interplay between their vulnerabilities and the presence you offered. Emotions serve as indicators of resonance. They reveal hidden aspects of the psyche, both in the person affected and within ourselves. By observing the responses of others, we gain insight into the depth of our influence and the subtle ways human consciousness is interconnected. This awareness reminds us that our behavior is never truly isolated. It carries ripple effects, touching areas of the mind and heart that may not be immediately visible. By reflecting on these dynamics, we can cultivate greater sensitivity and understanding, learning to navigate human relationships with attention and thoughtfulness. Awareness of impact is the first step toward growth and conscious engagement. When another person suffers due to our actions or presence, it invites us to examine our patterns, intentions, and unconscious tendencies. Emotional reactions are symbolic signals, offering insight into relational dynamics and unconscious influences. By reflecting on how our behavior affects others, we can respond with empathy, care, and understanding, transforming potential harm into opportunity for connection. Each disturbance becomes a lesson, a chance to observe our influence, repair any unintended consequences, and strengthen the capacity for mindful interaction, fostering relational harmony and insight. Healing the effects of yesterday requires intentionality. Once emotional impressions are made, they cannot be erased, but they can be acknowledged and addressed with conscious care. Recognition, empathy, and thoughtful engagement allow the affected person to feel seen and understood. Emotional interconnection reminds us that every action carries resonance beyond the immediate moment. By responding with presence and reflection, we transform disruption into an opportunity for growth and understanding. This approach fosters awareness in both parties and strengthens the capacity for compassionate, conscious engagement. Ultimately, the distress caused by our presence serves as a mirror, reflecting the complexity of human sensitivity and interconnectedness.